Wednesday morning to everybody. Hope your Wednesday is going well wherever you may be. We are at another game number 395 in the total season replay of the 1987 American League replay. Kansas City Royals, Minnesota Twins from the Metrodome. Both teams are they're actually tied for third place in the American League West, 5.5 games back of Oakland. Kansas City is 27-28. Minnesota is 28-29. Starting pitchers for today's game, left-hander Charlie Leibrandt for the Royals and right-hander Bert Blyleven for the Twins. Blyleven enters this game 5-5. Leibrandt enters 2-6. We are at the Metrodome, which is hitter-friendly. Singles are 1-16 left, 1-13 right. Home runs 1-11 both sides of the aisle. Minnesota won the game real world 4-3. If we look at the holding of runners, Blyleven's going to be a +4. +2 from Butera and the +2 from Blyleven make that a +4. Leibrandt's going to be a -1. He is a -2 hold, and Quirk is a +1, so he gets a -1 there. So we will get this game started. Got the Strat computer up, obviously, ready to go. And Bert Blyleven finishing up the warm-up tosses. On the real season, he was 15-12 with a .401 earned run average. On the replay, Bert Blyleven is 5-5 with a 4.74 earned run average. 93 innings pitched, 81 hits, 40 walks, and 70 strikeouts. He's got a wild pitch of 10, balk of 0. Leibrandt has a wild pitch of 7, balk of 5. Pass balls, Quirk is a 6, and Butera is a 14. So Willie Wilson will lead things off for the Royals. Wilson hitting .292 on the replay, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He had .279 in the real season. And unlike yesterday when I was a little bit out of sorts, I will not forget that before we have the first pitch, it is the ceremonial first sip. So we have to have that. And that is some good coffee. All right, now we are set. Since the ceremonial first pitch has been completed, Willie Wilson will step in against Bert Blyleven. 111, and that's a ballpark single check right off the bat. Like I said, very hitter-friendly, 1-16, but that's an 18, so bad break there. And that'll be a line out to second base. So Willie Wilson caught a real bad break on the D20. But them's the breaks, as they say. So Wilson will line out Lombardozzi, out number 1. And here comes Kevin Seitzer, third baseman. Seitzer hitting .292 on the replay, 8 homers, 34 driven in. He at .323 real world. That's a 2-2, and that's going to be a Lomax plus injury. So possible that Seitzer might be injured. He lines it to third for Gaetti to snag it, but now we need to check injuries. And we go to our injury chart in the Super Advanced Rulebook. And the way I'm going to play it is 1-6, he can stay in the game. 7 or higher, he's got to come out. It's only a game day injury because we are using as played, so the most he can be injured is for the rest of this game. He will not miss any extended time. And he will have to leave the game, no question about it. So Kevin Seitzer is going to have to leave. Pulled something when he made that swing and felt a twinge, so he's going to have to exit, and we'll need a new third baseman. And that third baseman will be Bill Pacoda. So Pacoda will take over for the injured Kevin Seitzer. Pacoda is a 4E37. So let's fix this right here. 4E37 for Pacoda. So this is now Pacoda at third base. And Pacoda runs at a 13 also, so that's not hard to transfer over there. But now Bill Pacoda will be at third base in the first inning. All right, so Pacoda, I'll make that change in the computer at the end of the half inning. So injury there. Good morning, Rail fan. Good to see you. So Seitzer injured on the play. He will have to leave the game, so Pacoda will take over from here. And now Danny Tartable stepping in. Tartable hitting 330 on the replay. 15 homers, 42 driven in. He hit 309 real world. That's a 412, and it's a ground ball first base C. So with it being a C, we scored where the first baseman flips to the pitcher covering to end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning for Bert Blyleven, and now in the computer, you go in and substitute Seitzer, take him out, and put Bill Pacoda in as the third baseman. All right, that change has been made. Now we go to the bottom of the first. Kansas City nothing. Twins coming to bat. Charlie Leibrandt, your pitcher. Leibrandt 16-11 with a 3.41 in the real season. He struggled this year, 2-6 on the replay. Not a bad ERA, 3.95. He's just not getting run support. 87 innings pitched, 79 hits, 28 walks, 69 strikeouts. Those numbers are pretty good. You would expect a better fate than 2-6, but it all depends on run support as well. All right, so Dan Gladden will lead it off for the Twins. Gladden on the replay hitting 238, 4 homers, 14 driven in. He hit 249 real world. We get a 3-6 against the left-hander. He's going to ground it to short, and Salazar will make that play. One down. And that will take us to shortstop Al Newman. Again, I don't know what's going on with Gagne. He's on the roster, but he hasn't been starting. So maybe he has got in real world, he had a lingering injury, but not enough to put him on the injured list. So he's there and available on the bench if need be. But right now, Al Newman will carry the torch at shortstop. Newman hitting 248, no homers, 9 driven in. He hit 221 in the real season. 5'7", switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ground ball shortstop X. So we're looking at Salazar again. 2E16 for Salazar. 2 and a 6. He should get to that. 2 and a 6 should not be an issue, you wouldn't think. Let's see. 2 and a 6. Nope, it's a G2. Nobody's on base, so the pound sign's irrelevant. And at shortstop, he is an E16, and that is an 8. E16, there is no 8 there, so Salazar will make the nice play. So 2 ground outs to short to start the inning for the Twins. And Leibrandt keeping the ball on the ground, which is a good sign for him. Here's Kirby Puckett. Puckett on the replay hitting 316, 9 homers, 33 driven in. He hit 332 real world. That's a 1-7, and that's a solid double for Kirby Puckett. No D20 needed there. It's a solid double on the 1-7. And Puckett is in scoring position with 2 outs now for Gary Gaetti, third baseman. It is a clutch situation for Gaetti. He gains a hit on 1-4 and also on 3-9. So he gains 2 hits there. On the replay, Gaetti hitting 264, 14 homers, 53 driven in. He hit 257 in the real season. See what he can do. Hello, Jeremiah. Yes, that is good coffee. I got to drink it again while it's hot. 1-4, and then he found. Look at this. He found his clutch at bat. That's a clutch hit. It's not a pop out to short. The Omega sign symbol here turns this into a single 2 stars. So Gary Gaetti comes through into clutch with an RBI single, scoring Puckett, and the Twins lead it 1-0. Some people don't like the clutch ratings. I do. It's personal preference. You can play it as you wish. But I like the clutch ratings. RBI number 54 for Gary Gaetti on the replay. Gaetti has a chance to get a lead, but with that -1 from Leibrandt, it would only be a 1-12, 60% chance. So, well, you know what? We're going to try for the lead anyway. 3 through 6 or a 12 gets him the lead. 11, he doesn't get the lead, but that's a 1, which means he could be picked off. His safe range is a 1 to 10. On a 1 to 10, he gets back safely. 11 or higher, he is picked off. And he is picked off first base by Leibrandt. That's one of the dangers in trying for the lead, is you can be picked off. But they took a chance. It just didn't work out. And that will end the inning. But the Twins do get the run on the Gaetti base hit. Larkin will have to lead off next inning. So we go to the second, 1-0 Twins. Designated hitter George Orta the venerable George Order. Seems like he's been around forever. He's the DH. He's had a rough season so far. In the real season, he only had 50 at-bats and hit 180 with 2 home runs. But he's done worse than that in the replay. In the replay, he's had 41 at-bats, only hitting 098 with no home runs. So that's obviously a little bit strange. See if he can do something here against Blyleven. 1-6. No, he cannot. He's going to ground it to Frank, actually to Lombardozzi at second. 1 away. So 1 down, and that brings up Bo Knows. Bo Jackson, he's hitting 238 on the replay. 8 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 235 in the real season. Here's Bo. 6-6, and that's a 1-14 single. That's a base hit for Bo Jackson. So Jackson is aboard. And again, that +4 is going to be awful inviting for Bo Jackson to try to get a lead. He needs a 6 or a 7 to obtain the lead. Doesn't get it, but he may go anyway with that +4. It's possible. We'll see. His secondary lead is a 12. You subtract 4 makes it an 8, but you add 4 makes it a 12. It'd be a 1 to 12 chance, but they just had Gaetti get picked off on a 1 to 12. So I think they'll hold Jackson there since he can't obtain a good lead. Good morning, Tim. Tim, I've got a Strat-O-Matic pre-order in the checkout on the Strat site, but I just can't pull the trigger. So I'm betwixt and between, but and to see what it costs for me just to get the 1 season in the computer game, man, it's like $141 for the 2025 season computer game with the cards and the extra players. But when you count shipping and taxes in there, it adds up to I think it's $134. I think I wanted to add another game box for $7, so it's like $141. And I got to figure if I can get $141 of entertainment out of that before I delve into that. All right, here's Steve Balboni, and Balboni hitting 172 on the replay, 10 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 207 real world. Also doesn't help that I just spent a little over $500 at our extended stay motel with the ice and everything, so that kind of cut into the budget as well. All right, 2-2 for Balboni, and that's a Lomax, and that's going to end the inning. Lomax to third base. He lines it to Gaetti, and then Gaetti fires it back to first to double off Bo Jackson on the Lomax, and that will end the inning. That will end the inning. How do you like that? So it's going to go 5 and then 5-3 on the double play. The one thing on the computer that's kind of interests me a little bit, I'm not sure it's worth the upgrade, but if you get the cards and the extras, if you get it with the computer game ends up being only about like $23, because when you add the difference between getting the computer game or just getting the cards for 2025, it's not that much of a difference. It's like I said, $20-something. But on the computer game, they're supposedly do something with their transactions to make their transactions a lot more readable and presentable and grouped into teams and dates and everything. Where on the computer here, I can't really, I guess there's a site on here to go to transactions, but I don't know where that is. The only way I see transactions is when I go the next day and I see who's available. So maybe, that's the only thing that might possibly. And the other thing too, and people are assuring me this is not going to happen, but I really want to make sure if I get the new computer game and I download it, that I don't lose this replay that's going on. I don't want this replay to disappear, and all my work has been somehow, people are assuring me that it's all background stuff and it's just going to override or overload or load in the game engine itself, and the seasons and everything should just migrate over with no problem. That's what I'm hoping for if I decide to go that route, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still debating that. So, hello, Jeremy. Good to see you. All right, so the end of the inning there on that line-out double play, that takes care of business and ends it for the Royals. All right, here's Charlie Liebrandt. I mean, with the Action PC manual entry, I've got that for the 2025 season because I bought that and it came with the 25 season. So really, I could just get the cards and do the manual entry there, but then the missing players I'm not going to have that would be on the computer. So this, in the old days, man, I was first in line, not first in line, but gung ho about getting the whole little package there with the computer game with the cards and the computer game with the card imaging and the extra players. I was all aboard. But now, not, I'm twixt in between, as they say. All right, here's Gene Larkin. Larkin, the first baseman with the lefty on the mound, they're sitting Herbeck. Larkin hitting .395 in just 43 at bats, a homer and 6 driven in. He hit .266 real world. So 1-7, and he's going to strike out. First strikeout for Liebrandt. Here's Bernansky. Bernansky's a designated hitter in this game. He's hitting .262 on the replay. 8 homers, 24 driven in. He hit .259 real world. 5-9, and that's a ground. That's 4-9. 5-9 is a ground ball back to Liebrandt. Quickly 2 away. But that's how it started in the first inning. You got the first 2 outs, and then a double by Puckett and a single by Gaetti in the clutch took care of it. Here's Lombardozzi, second baseman. He's hitting .273 on the replay. 2 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .238 real world. 6-9, right-handed, and that's a pop out to first base. Balboni is there, and that's going to end the inning. So after 2 complete, we got a Twins leading at 1-0. Almost said no score by accident. 1-0 Twins. Bottom of the order coming up for the Royals. It'll be Salazar, Quirk, and Biancalana playing second base today instead of Frank White. So here's Salazar hitting .251 on the replay. 2 homers, 12 driven in. He at .205 real world. 3-7, and that's a ground ball to short. And Newman will take care of that without incident. Jamie Quirk, the batter, the catcher. Quirk hitting .272 on the replay. A homer and 14 driven in. He at .236 real world. 3-7 for Quirk. 1-14 is a single. That's a 6. So Jamie Quirk, base hit. And that'll bring up Buddy Biancalana. Much better at second base, where he's a 2E27 versus a 3E88 at short. .213 hitter and 47 at bats in the real season. On the replay, he's had 26 at bats. He's hitting a .154. No homers and 1 run batted in. Quirk not being held, obviously. 4-9, right-handed hitter. I know Biancalana, I think, used to be a switcher. I think he switched to right-handed hitting only now. So 4-9 is a ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner Quirk over to second base, but now there are 2 outs. So 2 outs. It is a clutch situation now for Willie Wilson. Wilson lined it to Lombardozzi his first time up. In the clutch against right-handers, he got a line here where he loses 3 hits in a row. 3-8, 3-9, and 3-10. He loses hits. Also 2-8. So he's got four hits that turn into outs in the clutch. So not a good clutch player, apparently, is Willie Wilson. 1-4, and he strikes out. And that's actually the first strikeout for Blyleven. Took him 3 innings to get it. But he's tossed 3 scoreless at the Royals. We go to the bottom of the third, still 1-0. Liebrandt back out, and both pitchers have fatigue of 7. So if they're effective, they could possibly pitch double complete games if they're effective. Here's Mark Davidson. He's in right field. Davidson hitting .214 on the replay. 1 homer, 6 driven in. He had .267 real world. 2-8, and that's a ground ball to short. And Salazar will make that easily. 1 away for Sal Butera, catcher. recent acquisition from the Reds not that long ago. Butera is 2 for 6 on the replay, 333 average and just 6 at bats. But those 2 hits are a double and a home run. He's got 3 runs batted in. Only hit 171 and 111 at bats real world. That's a 5-5, and that's going to be a 1-2 triple. That's a 16, so that's another double for Butera. Another extra base hit, and he's been something. Just 7 at bats, but he's 3 for 7 with 2 doubles and a homer. I know it's a small sample size, but he's catching the good breaks apparently. All right, here's Dan Gladden. Gladden grounded to short his first time up. 2-8, and that is a double 1-19, but that's a 20, so it's going to be a single, but it's 2 stars, and that's an RBI single off the bat of Dan Gladden, and the Twins lead it 2-0. So kind of a bad break on a 2-8. You think you get a double. The only way he gets a single is on a 20, and that's exactly what came up. Hello, Cardboard. Good to see you. Good morning to you. So a single. RBI single from Dan Gladden, and now he might be looking to get a lead. In fact, I know he is. 4, 5, or 6, he can get a lead to steal. Does not get that lead, so he will hold. And here's Al Newman. 2-6 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. There's the Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play. 6-4-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop from Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area, stop by. Tell them Demo sent you. You might get a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of this channel. Giovanni's Tailor Shop with the tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. But the RBI single from Dan Gladden gives the Royals a 2-0 lead as we go to the 4th. And the new third baseman, Bill Pecota, he came in for the injured Seitzer. Seitzer injured himself on that first at bat. He had a Lomax with injury, so he had to leave. And now Bill Pecota making his first plate appearance on the replay. He's hitting 250 in just 28 at bats, one homer, 2 driven in. He hit 276 real world. It's a 2-8, and he's going to strike out. So Blyleven strikeouts in back-to-back at bats going back to last inning. His first 2 strikeouts of the game. Brings up Danny Tartable, right fielder. Tartable grounded to Larkin at first base. First time up. 1-8 for Tartable is another strikeout. So 3 strikeouts in a row for Blyleven. He's got the curveball working apparently. 2 quick outs for George Orta, designated hitter. To 1-7, and that's another strikeout. So he strikes out the side 4 in a row going back to last inning. As that curveball is dancing. Go to the bottom of the 4th, 2-0, still the lead for the Twins. And coming up for the Twins will be Kirby Puckett. Puckett, his first time up, doubled and scored on the single by Gaetti. So 5-5 to the right-hander. 1-2 is a triple. 3-20 is a double. That's a 1. Puckett with a triple. That's his 5th triple of the season, and he had 5 all season. So in 624 at-bats, he had 5 triples. This is at bat 249, and he hits his 6th triple. He matches his season total in half the at-bats. So don't know how many triples he's going to end up with, but we'll find out. But Kirby Puckett now on cycle watch. He's got double and a triple in his first 2 at-bats. And now the infield will have to come in for Gary Gaetti. Infield is in for the Royals. 2-6, and that's going to be a ground ball third base A. With it being an A, that's going to freeze the runner. Puckett, he will have to hold. And there's 1 away. Hello, Dr. D. Good morning to you. So that brings up Gene Larkin. Infield, of course, still in. Larkin struck out his first chance. Larkin, a 4-6. He's a switch hitter batting right-handed. That's going to be a walk. So now the double play is set up. If you want to look at it on a positive lean to it, it does set up a double play. And the batter is Brunansky, and he's probably got some ground ball A's on his card. He's got at least 1, 2 of them against lefties, and 3, 4 of them, 5. He's got 5 ground ball A's just on a glance, so he's definitely a double play candidate. And they are playing back for the double play. 2-9, but that's not going to matter here. 1-7 is a home run. That's an 11. It's not going to be a double play. It's going to be a double. Double for Bruno. That will score Puckett from third. Let's see. Larkin only runs at a 10. The double is assumed to go to center field. Wilson's a +2 arm, so that will make Brunansky, Larkin, who was not being held, he's an 11. The +2 makes him a 13. 13, but do they try to send him with 1 out, or do they go with something else? They're going to send him 1-13, and the Royals are going to throw home, which means Brunansky is going to take third because he rates as a 13. So either way, Brunansky will take third on the throw. It's a 1-13, and again, that's factored. Larkin's a 10, not being held as an 11. The +2 from Wilson makes it a 13. 1-13, he is safe. And he's in there right on the number. He slid in under the tag. Quirk doesn't like it, but it's going to count whether he likes it or not. So a 2-run double from Brunansky, and he takes third on the overthrow. And the Twins now lead it 4-0. Still only 1 out, and the infield will have to come in for Lombardozzi. That's a 6-9, and that's a pop up to first, so that certainly helps. If you're the Royals, that helps keep the runner at his base at third base with now 2 outs. And it's going to bring up Davidson. In the clutch, that's a 1. Chance of a wild pitch on Leibrandt. His wild pitch rating's a 7. No wild pitch is blocked by Quirk. Davidson in the clutch will gain a hit on 3-2 and on 1-10. That's a 3-8, and he's going to ground it to short, and that will end the inning. But 2 runs come in, and it's now 4-0 Twins, as they are starting to get to Leibrandt, and Blyleven's just coasting along. Top of the 5th we go. And we start out with Bo Nose. Bo singled but was doubled off on a Lomax by Valboni right after that. 1-4 for Bo. That's a strikeout. And again, for Blyleven, that's 5 strikeouts in a row going back to the 3rd inning. I'm going to bring up Valboni. Speaking of strikeouts, he certainly can fit that bill. He's got lots of strikeouts on his card. 3-4, but he doesn't find it. He finds a ground ball to third. Gaetti makes the play. 2 down. 2 down for Salazar. Salazar grounded to short his first time up. 6-6, and that's going to be a 1-14 single. That is a 14, right on the number. So Salazar will single. Down 4-0, he's not going to try to get any kind of lead, even though that +4 does look tempting. Actually, he will try for the lead. We can't get away from that +4. But he does get ticked off on a 10 or 11, but they're going to take the chance that they don't roll a 10 or 11. Roll an 8, which is good enough for the lead. So he gets the lead. He's a 15, being held as a 13, but the +4 is a 17. So a 1-17, he'll steal it. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Butera. He's a 7. And it will be an error, a stolen base and an error on Butera. So stolen base for Salazar. And then the E2 on the throw will put him at third base for Jamie Quirk. Jamie Quirk. So Salazar will single. Then he'll steal and go to third on the error by Mr. Butera. All right, so runner at third, 2 down for Jamie Quirk. It's now a clutch situation for Quirk. He gains a hit on 1-9, And he also gains hits on 2-6 and 2-8. Three, 5, and that's going to be a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. So Bly-Levin pitches around the air, keeps the Royals off the board. Go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 4-0. Favor of the Twins. Lee Brandt back out. He'll be facing the bottom of the order, Butera, Gladden, and Newman. Butera did double his first time up. 6-5, and this time he'll fly to right field for Tartable. Make the play. One away, back to the top of the order for Gladden. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Was erased on a tailor-made double play in his last at bat. 1-10, and that's a solid single for Gladden again. See if he can get a lead. Needs a 4 through 6, 4, 5, or 6 to get that lead. Doesn't get it. He will hold. And here is Al Newman. Newman hit into that double play last time. 3-10, and not a double play this time. Might be a double, though. 3-10, 1-6 is a double, and that's a 4. It's a double 2 stars. So Gladden cannot score. He will hold at third base. So second and third, nobody out. And now what do the Royals do? They got to look at their bullpen, although the bullpen has been taxed heavily. Not as heavily as we're about to be taxed in Virginia, but you know what I mean. It's been overworked. So let's see here. Rick Anderson, he's definitely overworked. Quisenberry, they only got 4 relievers, and they've all been kind of overworked. Other than Jerry Don Gleaton, a lefty, everybody else has been pretty much overworked. Farr and Gleaton are the 2 rested ones. Man, you don't want to give the game away, but you don't want to wear out your bullpen either. That's the problem. But I think the way Puckett has hit Lee Brandt a double and a triple his first 2 at bats, we're going to go ahead and make a pitching change. And they're going to bring in Steve Farr. I know it's not his normal time to come in, but got to do something. Steve Farr. Steve bridge too far. Maybe I'm going to bridge too far on this. I don't know. He is a +5 on his hold, so that's not good. On the real season, 4-3, a 4.15 earned run average. So we go to the bullpen and bring in Steve Farr and get his numbers on the replay. All right, so real world, 4-3, 4.15 ERA and 1 save. On the replay, 3-1 with a 4.81 ERA and 6 saves. I've been using him a lot in closer situations, but not here. Now it's a situation to get out of a mess. Second and third, so we can't close the book on Lee Brandt. He's still responsible for these 2. He's going to go 4 1/3, and he's going to give up 8 hits. So far, 4 runs all earned. He will walk 1 and strike out 1. But we can't fill in the runs just yet because both these guys are his responsibility. The infield is in against Kirby Puckett. Hello, Joel, Bob, and Chuck. Bob, yeah, we're thawing out a little bit. It was 46 degrees yesterday, and that helped do some melting, although it was overcast, but it still helped loosen up some. I could actually go out there with my snow shovel. Not my snow shovel, but my garden shovel, because it's got a much sharper blade, and basically break through the ice a little bit. It was softened up enough where I could actually make a difference. So now at least we can get out of our driveway without any problems. So, all right, here's Kirby Puckett. Again, infield is in with 1 out. Puckett has doubled and tripled. It's a 2-5 for Puckett, and that's a ground ball shortstop A with a plus sign. So with the infield in, that's a base hit. And now 2-run single for Puckett, and he's a home run away from the cycle. Already had the cycle from Gagne for the Twins earlier this season as my first ever cycle. And now Puckett's on cycle watch. But you had to bring the infield in. You were already down 4-0. You really couldn't afford. Well, now they definitely can't afford those 2 runs, but they happen. So they charged to Leibrandt and closed the book on Leibrandt. 6 runs all earned. A very rough outing. Puckett now, chance to get a lead with that +5 from far. So he needs a 4, 5, or 6. And that's a 6. He's going to get the lead. So Puckett on a 15, being held to 13, but the +5's an 18. 1 to 18, he'll steal it. And he does. Stolen base for Puckett. Twins have the foot on the gas. They don't care what the score is. And here comes Gaetti. It's a 2-7, and that's a trouble again. 1 to 11's a double. That's going to be a double for Gaetti. It's an RBI double. And it is now 7-0. And Steve Farr, obviously not the answer here. We could have a position player pitch in this game before too long because they just don't want it. They just need their bullpen to get some rest. Here's Larkin. 5-7, switch your bang left. That's a ground ball, second base X. Looking at Biancalana, he's a 2E27. 2 and a 6, should get to that. They were not holding Gaetti on second base, so the pound sign is not going to matter. So that's a 6, and he is a 2. So that pound sign is not relevant in this case. It's going to be a G2. That's a 10, and he's an E27. There is no 10, but with the ball going to the right-hand side, it will advance Gaetti to third base with 2 outs. So now 2 outs and Gaetti at third base. And that sends it to Tom Brunansky. Uh, 1-7 for Brunansky. He's going to draw a base on balls. Keeps the inning going. And that will send up Steve Lombardozzi. He has popped to Balboni at first 2 times. 4-2, he will ground it to first this time around. Balboni will get it and flip to Farr covering to end the inning. But 3 runs come in, and we are looking at a 7-0 ball game after 5 innings. And Burt Blyleven just cruising along at this point. And he'll be facing Biancalana, Wilson, and Dakota for the Royals. Five, 6, and that's going to be a 1 for a double. Anything else is a single. So leadoff single for Biancalana. Of course, he has no threat to run. Will not be held. Here's Willie Wilson. Uh, 6-6 for Willie Wilson against Blyleven. 1-5 is a single. That's a 1, so it's another base hit. Back-to-back singles. Start the inning for the Royals. They got to start somewhere. You're down 7-0. You need base runners, and they've got them. Here's Pacoda. 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. That's Puckett. He's a 1E6. 1 and a 5. I don't think the runners can advance on that, but we'll double check it. 1 and a 5 is an F2, so it would be a sac fly, but nobody's on third base. The run on second could possibly try to tag and go to third, but it might not be smart to do so. That's an 11, and he is an E6. There is no 11 there. On an F2, though, the runner on third may try to tag. But Puckett does have a -4 arm, so you'll be running at high risk here. It'd be a 1 to 11. You add 2 to this number, make it a 15, but then the -4 is a 1 to 11. Just don't think that's a sound move, so they will hold him there, all the runners there at their bases. Here comes Tartable. That's a 6-4, and that's a catcher X. So we're looking at Butera, 4E5. That's a 4 and a 7. Probably some sort of a pass ball coming up, perhaps. Let's see here. A 4 and a 7 is a P/P. That's a 17. We could get an error on top of everything. Let's see. 17, and he is an E5. There's a 17 there for an E1. So we got a P/P with an E1. So let's look and see what that says. P/P with a 1 base error. The batter hits a squib out in front of the plate that the catcher can't handle. It's a 1 base error. So that takes away the pass ball. The error overrides that. So it's just an E2, and it will load the bases. Bases are loaded for George Orta as the error on Butera. Second error on the Twins in this game. Both by Butera. He had an error on a stolen base attempt, and now he's got an error here on the dribbler. So bases loaded, 1 out for George Orta. Infield, of course, looking for the double play. They lead 7-0, so certainly not going to play in. 6-4, and that is another catcher X, so Butera gets another chance. Oh, we got hop and dice. We're going to re-roll this. That's a 12, so we'll see what happens with that. 4 and a 12 for the catcher is a P/F, so still could be some sort of a pass ball. That's an 8. He's an E5, so no error there. So P/F, we come over to P/F, and we're looking right here. We're going to be using the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to see if a pass ball has occurred. Blyleven's wild pitch rating is a 10, so we roll a 10 or less, it will be a pass ball. And it is. So it's a pass ball on. So Butera is having all kinds of issues. An error and now a pass ball will bring home the first run of the game. Pass ball by Butera. And Blyleven's kind of like, what the heck is going on here? So the first run of the game, now second and third with 1 out. Takes away the double play as well. But still leading 7-1. Dr. D, that's in the rules. When you want to try to tag up on that, go from second, third, or third to home on the fly ball B ? Or the F2 result, you add 2 to the runner. That's per the rule. And I'll show that to you real quick. Let me find it here. F2. Oh, you know what? Let's see here. That's the fly out to tag up. Actually, he didn't have a chance. So a run on second may tag to compute the safe chances is running speed plus F. You were right. I shouldn't have added. I was thinking of the one about going home from third. So yeah, you were correct, Dr. D. I should not have added 2, but it didn't matter. I didn't challenge it anyway. But yes, you are correct. That was an error to add 2 like that. We don't add 2 on those. We add 2 on the ones going home. All right, so here's Orta. Thank you for that correction. All right, here is Orta. 2-7, and he's going to strike out. Strikeout number 6 for Blyleven. 2 outs. Infield can return to normal for Bo Jackson in the clutch. And in the clutch for Bo, he loses a hit on 3-10. Everywhere else he is neutral. And on 2-3. So he loses hits in 2 locations. 4-9, and that's a ground ball to second. That'll do it. So 1 unearned run via the error and the pass ball. But Blyleven pretty much pitches around it. Limits the damage to 1 run. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 7-1 in favor of the Twins. Far back out. We'll try to go another inning. He can go 3 innings in relief, so they're pretty much using him to save the bullpen. They really don't want to use Quisenberry if they can help it. He really needs some rest. He has been overused. Here's Davidson. 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Biancalana, 2E27 for Biancalana. Whoa, we got hopping dice, so let's redo that again. We got 14, so that should be an easy play, just a matter of an error now. 2 and a 14, he'll get to that. That's a 12, and he's an E27 at second base. There's a 13, 15, 18, and 17, but no 12. So Biancalana will make the play. One away for Butera. That's a 5-4, and that's a fly ball to left for Bo Jackson, makes the play. 2 down. And that'll send up Dan Gladden. He is singled twice. 111, and that's a ground ball to short, handled by Salazar. 1-2-3 inning for Steve Farr. And we go to the 7th, still 7-1 Twins. This is the fatigue inning for Blyleven, so we'll keep an eye on him. He'll be facing the bottom of the order, Balboni, Salazar, and Quirk. That's a 1-6, and he's going to strike out number 7 for Blyleven. One away for Angel Salazar. 3-12 for Salazar, and that's a foul out to the catcher Butera. 2 down for Jamie Quirk. 5-11, and that's a ground ball pitcher X. Blyleven is a 2 E21. 2 and a 14 to get to that, but that 18 is problematic on the E21. That 18 does not look good. E21 and an 18 for a pitcher. That's a 2-base error on Blyleven. That 18s tend to do that. So it's a 2-base error on Blyleven. Third error of the game by the Twins. That's the only thing they're not doing well is fielding. So it's a 2-base error on the pitcher. And now, since we're in the 7th inning, pinch hitting is allowed. So there will be a pinch hitter for Biancalana, as the Royals will go to their bench for Thad Bosley to pinch hit. And then they will bring in Frank White to play second base. So we'll go to the Royals bench and pull out Thad Bosley to pinch hit for Biancalana. So Bosley, on the replay, has been struggling, hitting a 170, 2 homers, 9 driven in, and 88 at bats. He hit 279 real world. He's in a clutch situation, and in the clutch, he will lose some hits here. 1-5 and 1-9, also 3-7. We've got 3 spots he's going to lose hits. But he's the only lefty on the bench. 2-12, and he pops it up to first where Larkin has it, and that will take care of business for the Royals. Blyleven keeps full endurance into the 8th inning. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time, but we're just going to keep rolling along, and we need to put Frank White in the game on the computer at second base. Frank White will be your second baseman. Steve Farr back out. Will face Newman, Puckett, and Gaetti. So this is going to be Puckett's last at bat. He's only going to get 4 at bats apparently, and he's got to make the most of it. He's got to have the home run for the cycle. Not a very likely situation, but with the dice, anything can be possible. Here's Newman, 2-8 for Newman, and that's a pop out to short. 1 away. So now it's come down to this for Puckett. He needs a ballpark. If he can get a ballpark thing, that would possibly help him. Let's see. There's a 1 ballpark blast on Farr's card. There's an in-home run chance here on 6-5. And let's see. And Puckett's got a home run chance here, partial home run chance here. He hit 28 in the real world in the 87 season. So far, he's only hit 9. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Newman's numbers. Let me in Newman's at bat here, the pop up to short. So he's hit, yeah, he's only hit 9 so far in 250 at bats in the replay. In 624 at bats, he hit 28, so he's kind of behind the pace. Let's see if he can do it. It's his one and only chance. Get a 410, that's not going to happen. It's a ballpark single, not a ballpark home run chance. Ballpark single's a 13, that's a 20, that even failed. So he flies to right, so Puckett will have to settle for a 3-for-4 day. And here is Gary Gaetti. Jeremiah, I'm definitely not interested in 52 or 85. Now, if they come up with 75 or 79, I'd have been all over it. But I don't know if they took a poll on it or not, but I think they swung and missed on those two seasons. All right, here is Gary Gaetti, 2-5, and that is a pop up to third to end the inning. And maybe they'll sell a lot. I don't know. I hope they do, but just from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem like that was the one people were clamoring for. If they come up with 75 or 79, either one, you would have had a ton of orders come in for that. All right, so Blyleven back out, top of the order. It is still a 7-1 ball game. Here's Willie Wilson. That's just my opinion about 75 and 79. Other people might like other seasons. Who knows? 5-7, switch hitter bang left. That's a ground ball, second base X. We are looking at Mr. Lombardozzi, a 2E18. 2 and a 5. That'll be iffy, but I think he'll get to it. 2 and a 5 is a G3. The pound sign's irrelevant. Nobody's on base. That's an 8. And he is an E18, and there is no 8 there. So Lombardozzi will make a clean play. 1 away. And that'll send up Bill Pecota. Pecota, since coming in for Seitzer, is 0 for 2. 1-5, and now he's 0 for 3. Ground ball to short where Newman takes care of it. 2 down. Blyleven going for the complete game. No reason not to. He's got a big lead and seems to be rolling along. Hardible, 4-8, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he hasn't reached fatigue yet. So the strikeout is good. Strikeout number 8. And Blyleven definitely going for the complete game. No question about it. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Far back out, just burning some innings, basically, saving the bullpen. Here is Gene Larkin. 1-7, and that's a ground ball to third. Score is not quite drastic enough to use a position player, in my opinion. I don't think a team would do that in just a 6-run game. Now, if it was like a 9 or 10-run game, I'd probably do it. But we'll keep it with this. Here's Brunansky. 2-8, and that's a 1-8 double. 9-20 is going to be a single. So Brunansky with his second hit of the game. He is aboard. Up 7-1. They're not going to try to steal, so they'll call off the dogs on that. Here's Lombardozzi. 4-6, and that's going to be a walk. And now we keep an eye on Farr and make sure he doesn't get fatigued. Computer will tell me that if he gets to that point. Here's Davidson. First and second, 1 out. Royals could use a double play to get out of this. 6-7 for Farr is going to be another walk. It's going to load the bases. So the bases are now loaded with only 1 out, and now Farr is tired. They're going to let him pitch to Butera, see if they can get out of this. They won't go to another pitcher unless he starts giving up runs. So here's Butera, infield looking for the double play. Try to get out of this inning. 6-10 for Farr. Fly ball center field X. We are looking at Wilson. He's a 1E1. 1-7 is probably still going to be a sacrifice fly, though. Didn't get a high enough number to keep that from happening. So F2 is definitely you would need a 14 or higher to keep the runner from third from scoring. So it will be a sacrifice fly. The 7 there is not going to be an error. So it's a sacrifice fly for Butera. That makes it 8-1 as Brunansky scores. First and second, 2 down for Dan Gladden. Technically a clutch situation, although doesn't really seem like it. 5-10 for Farr is another catcher X, this time for Quirk. So Quirk is a 4E10. 4 and a 7, that's probably going to be a pass ball or close to it. Let's find out. And there's a 13 there. There could be an error on top of that. So let's see. First of all, check the 4 and the 7 for a catcher. That's a P/P. That's a 13, and he is an E10. E10, there's a 12 and 18, but no 13. So we go over here on the P/P. And again, we're checking the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to see if there is a pass ball occurring. And the wild pitch rating on Farr is only a 4, so we'll see if there's a wild pitch or not. And there is. So it's going to be a pass ball. Unbelievable. Pass ball on Quirk is going to put runners at second and third. For Gladden still up there. 2-5, and that's a ground ball to short to end the inning. So Farr did his job. He went 3 2/3. He's going to need at least 1 day of rest, maybe 2. But he saved the rest of the bullpen. He means that Don Gleaton, Quisenberry, and Anderson are all rested for the next game. And score being 8-1, that's what you want. You don't want to burn your bullpen. So we go to the 9th. Go to the Strat computer to get the totals on Mr. Farr. See what he did. His complete pitching line is as follows: 3 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, they were earned, 3 walks, and no strikeouts. That's not usually a good thing to happen. Liebrandt's going to go drop to 2 7. Blyleven will raise his record to 6 5. He's just going for the complete game. That's the only drama, if you want to call it that, is whether he gets his complete game or not. So George Orta is your batter. George Orta. One 7 for Orta. He struck him out. Strikeout number 9. And Orta's got the hat trick, 3 strikeouts. Brings up Bo Jackson. 1-8 for Jackson. He strikes out. Strikeout number 10 for Blyleven. So he's looking to finish in style. Last chance is bye-bye Balboni. 6-6 for Blyleven. That's a 1-14 single. So that's a base hit for Balboni that will keep the inning going and the game going to the next man up, which in this case is Salazar. Do they want to pinch it for Salazar? Well, they really don't have anyone else to play shortstop if they did it, so I don't think. Let me double check here. Yeah, I guess you could technically move Beniquez to third and put Bakota at short if they really wanted to go that route. So they'll go ahead and give Juan Beniquez an at-bat for Salazar. So Beniquez will hit for Salazar. Juan Beniquez. So we'll bring in Beniquez on the computer. Salazar on the game was 1 for 3. Beniquez, and this will leave Hal McRae and Larry Owen as the last 2 bench players. So on the replay, Beniquez is hitting 256, 4 homers, 24 driven in. He at 251 real world. Blyleven going for that complete game. 5-6, and he won't get it here. 1's a double, 2 20's a single, 2 stars. So Beniquez, a Single 2 stars will move Balboni to third. That puts runners at the corners with 2 outs for Jamie Quirk. The Bly-11 had to work a little bit extra to get that complete game against Mr. Quirk. 3-12 for Quirk, and that's a foul out to the catcher Butera, and that will do the ball game right there. Bly-11 in control of the whole game, and the Royals fall to the Twins by the score of 8-1. Here at the Metrodome, Bly-11 a complete game victory. The loss goes to Lee Brandt. Of course, the win goes to Bly-11. So we'll go to the box score and get the totals and set you up for tomorrow's game, which will take place at Tiger Stadium, I do believe, against the Brewers, but I'll double check it, make sure that's accurate. So Kansas City drops behind the Twins in the standings. They were tied. Bly-11 is going to go 9 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, which was unearned because of the errors in the pass ball, but more importantly, no walks and 10 strikeouts. Just an amazing performance there for Bly-11. He is the player of the game. I know Puckett had 3 hits and 3 runs, but Bly-11 just basically shut him down. 8 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors for the Twins. So there you have it. The Twins even their record at 29-29. Royals drop a game back at 27-29. Puckett was 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, so definitely could make a case for him as well. But as we look at the next game on the agenda for tomorrow, nice matchup for teams, not the best matchup for pitching, but play it like we have it. It's going to be Len Barker and the Brewers against Walt Terrell and the Tigers. That'll be the next game tomorrow from Tiger Stadium. Len Barker against Walt Terrell. Not exactly a stellar matchup. Milwaukee won the game real world 8-5. We'll see what happens to other replay, but the Tigers playing the first place team, so this is their chance to make some ground up in the standings. Right now, the Tigers are 3.5 back, but they can pull it within 2.5 real quick with the win. And with the win, they would pull within a half game of the Yankees for third place. So Tigers creeping on up. They're actually ahead of their pace. They're 32-22 on the replay. They were 29-25 real world. So, but with this one, the Twins improved to 29-29, which is only 3 games off the pace. They were 32-26 real world. Kansas City 27-29. They're 3 games off the pace. They were 30-26 real world. So not too bad. But that's game number 395 in the books. So this will be game 396 tomorrow from Tiger Stadium. Len Barker against Walt Terrell. So that'll be tomorrow. Then on Friday, looking at the schedule, and we may run this into next week because the following game, following date is Thursday, June 11th. There are only 2 games scheduled: Milwaukee, Detroit, and Toronto, Baltimore. That's it. So we've got Chicago and Oakland for Friday probably. Then we're looking at Cleveland and California for Monday, Texas and Seattle for Tuesday, and then Wednesday you've got Milwaukee, Toronto, Detroit again, and then on you got Toronto, Baltimore, and then on a Thursday you've got Milwaukee and Detroit. So I've got to spread these things out a little bit because, like I said, there are only 2 games scheduled on Thursday the 11th, obviously a travel day. Let's see here. Actually, what they've got scheduled on the 12th, though, is an actual doubleheader between the Twins and the White Sox. So that's interesting. So there's an overload of games on the next calendar date. So we'll figure it out somehow or another. We'll get it done. But as of now, game 395 is in the books. And in the replay so far, through 395 games, the home team is plus 13. They're 204 and 191 are the home teams for a .516 winning percentage. So there's no built-in home field advantage in the strat cards or anything like that. But I'm not even sure how you would build that in anyway. I guess just the advantage of the last at bat. I guess helps them out a little bit. Could be that the better teams are playing more games at home. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we've got. If we're looking at I'm looking at this main screen here with the losing streaks. Texas and the White Sox. I'm sorry, Texas and Cleveland. I think it is. Texas and Cleveland have both lost 4 in a row. The Oakland A's have won 4 in a row, and that's why they lead the Angels by 4 games, the Twins by 5, and Kansas City and Chicago are 6 games back. So that's going to do it from here. Again, the final score in game number 395. It is the Twins over the Royals by the score of 8-1. They won the real game 4-3, but much easier this time as Bert Blyleven tossed a complete game 7-hitter, giving up the 1 unearned run but striking out 10 to improve to 6-5. So, hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic 1987 Super Advanced. I'm still on the fence about whether I'm going to order anything for Strat this year or not. Like I said, it's in my cart, but I haven't hit pay yet because I'm looking at the dollar amount for what I'm getting. I'm like, don't know if it's worth it. So, and I'm not in any rush. So I'm not trying to beat anybody else out in the pre-orders. So it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. If I do order it, whether I get it a week later or whatever, some of these people get on here and get overly excited and start tracking the FedEx and all this other stuff, which if that makes them happy, go for it. But I guess it's your chance to feel like a kid again. So I guess you can't hate on them for that, I guess. Anyway, it is time to get moving on to something else. Might do a Steve Carlton game this afternoon, not sure, in the payoff pitch replay. About time to do one of his again. As Phillies are back home and playing the San Francisco Giants. So that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.